Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's baseball games, look ahead to today's games, NHL preseason from the last 2 days, and look ahead to today's games. Some soccer scores we have to go over. We have the next PGA tournament on deck, the Sanderson Farms Championship. We have the Masked Singer and Survivor to discuss, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with Major League Baseball. Couple divisions clinched last night. We'll go over the scores and look ahead to everything going on today. Rays over the Guardians 6-5-11. Pirates over the Reds 4-1. Tigers over the Royals 4-3-10 on a walk-off single by Harold Castro. Braves over the Nats 8-2. Yankees over the Blue Jays 5-2 to clinch the American League East. Red Sox over the Orioles 13-9. Marlins over the Mets 6-4. Twins over the White Sox 4-0. Cubs over the Phillies 2-1. Cardinals over the Brewers 6-2. They clinched the NL Central. Astros over the Diamondbacks 10-2. Angels over the Athletics 4-3. Padres over the Dodgers 4-3-10 on a walk-off walk with the bases loaded. Jorge Alfaro drew the walk. Rangers over the Mariners 5-0, so best bet that I put a lot in was a loser. And the Giants over the Rockies 5-2. Now we look ahead to today's games. 12:30 you have the Reds with the Pirates. Luis Sessa against Bryce Wilson. So you would think the Pirates are favored. They are. -118. The Reds are even money. Over under 7.5. Overs -115. Unders -105. Reds -1.5 is +158. Pirates +1.5 is -192. So Reds favored on the run line. Pirates favored on the money line. I have a significant edge on the Cincinnati Reds. I'm going to go with the Reds at even money against the Pirates. 6 o'clock, Rays Guardians. Tyler Glasnow making his season debut against Tristan McKenzie. Guardians -124, Rays +106, over under 6.5, overs -104, unders -118. Rays +1.5 is -215, Guardians -1.5 is +176. I'm going with the Rays at +106. They're favored on ESPN Analytics. 6:30, Royals Tigers. Daniel Lynch and Matt Manning. Tigers -132, Royals +112, over under 7.5, overs -118, unders -104. Royals +1.5 is -196, Tigers -1.5 is +162. I'm going with the over. Braves Nationals at 7, Jake Odorizzi and Josiah Gray. Braves -220, Nats +184, over under 8.5, overs -115, unders -105. Braves -1.5 is -134, Nats +1.5 is +112. I'm going with the over. Yankees Blue Jays, Garrett Cole and Mitch White. So Garrett Cole going for the Yankees single season strikeout record. He's -126. The Jays are +108, over under 7.5, overs -120, unders -102. Yankees -1.5 is +136. Jays +1.5 is -164. I'm going with the Blue Jays at +108. I think that Cole will pitch well, but the offense will not do anything after all the partying last night. It's a letdown spot for the Yankees. I don't think Aaron Judge is going to play, so I'm going with Toronto at +108, as they absolutely need this game. Orioles Red Sox, Dean Kremer and Rich Hill. Red Sox -126, Orioles +108, over under 9, overs -114, unders -106. Orioles +1.5 is -184, Red Sox -1.5 is +152. I'm going with the over because both these teams' offenses have been humming. Marlins Mets, Jesus Luzardo and Taijuan Walker. Mets -190, Marlins +160, over under 7, overs +102, unders -124. Marlins +1.5 is -134, Mets -1.5 is +112. I'm going with the Mets run line, -1.5 at +112. Bounce back spot for them. White Sox Twins at 7:30, Johnny Cueto and Josh Winder. Twins -110, White Sox -106, over under 7.5, -110 each way. White Sox -1.5 is +158, Twins +1.5 is -192. So White Sox favored on the run line Twins favorite on the money line. I'm going with the White Sox minus 106. Phillies Cubs, Aaron Nola and Hayden Wesneski. Phillies minus 194, Cubs plus 162, over under 6.5. Over is minus 122, under is even money. Phillies minus 1.5 is minus 108, Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 111. I'm going with the Cubs run line plus 1.5 at minus 111. They've been in a lot of these games recently. So I'm going with the Cubs run line. Cardinals Brewers. Jose Quintana, Brandon Woodruff. Brewers minus 156, Cardinals plus 132, over under 7. Over is minus 120, under is minus 102. Cardinals plus 1.5 is minus 170. Brewers minus 1.5 is plus 140. So, Cardinals clinch the division. The Brewers should be a no-brainer pick to win the game. I'm going to go first half result, the Brewers minus 115. D-backs Astros at 8 o'clock. Zach Gallen and Justin Verlander. Astros minus 190, D-backs plus 160, over under 6.5. Over is minus 106, under is minus 114. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 142. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 118. A little juicy, but I'm going to go with the under. A's Angels at 9:30. Adrian Martinez and Michael Lorenzen. Angels minus 188. A's plus 158. Over under 8. Over is minus 120. There's minus 102. A's plus 1.5 is minus 132. Angels minus 1.5 is plus 110. I'm going with... I'm going to go with the very juiced over. Been said I'm going to go with the first half over, 4.5 at minus 110. Dodgers Padres, Julio Urias and Joe Musgrove. Dodgers minus 142, Padres plus 120, over under 7.5. Over is minus 104, under is minus 118. Dodgers minus 1.5 is plus 120, Padres plus 1.5 is minus 144. Padres still playing for a playoff spot. I'm taking them plus 120 to knock off the Dodgers. Rangers Mariners, Martin Perez and George Kirby. Mariners minus 162, Rangers plus 136, over under 6.5. Over is minus 122, under is even money. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 170, Mariners minus 1.5 is plus 140. I'm going with the Rangers plus 136. It's a lot of value on Texas. And last but not least, the Rockies and the Giants at 9:45. Jose Urena, and we don't know who's going for San Francisco, and the line's not posted yet. Giants run line might be a lead. Okay, now we'll move on to the NHL preseason. We'll go over the results from the last 2 days and look ahead to today's preseason action. Monday, Panthers over the Preds 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Alexander Barkov. Rangers over the Islanders 4-1. Devils over the Canadiens 2-1. Blues over the Stars 4-0. Preds over the Panthers 4-0. Kraken over the Oilers 3-0. And the Kings over the Golden Knights 2-1 overtime on a winner by Adrian Kempe. And then Tuesday, the Red Wings over the Penguins 6-2. That's impressive for a preseason game. We can't really overreact to the preseason. Sabres over the Flyers 2-1. Devils over the Islanders 4-1. Bruins over the Rangers 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by AJ Greer. Hurricanes over the Lightning 5-1. Jets over the Sens 5-3. Stars over the Coyotes 4-3 in OT on a game winner by Mason Marchment. Blues over the Blackhawks 4-1. Wild over the Abs 5-2. Kraken over the Flames 3-0. And the Sharks over the Ducks 5-4. Okay, now we'll move on to today's games. I don't think there's betting odds for this. All right, 7 o'clock, you have the Capitals against the Flyers on the NHL Network. Oh, there is odds for the preseason games. So that's fun. The Flyers are minus 110. The Caps are minus 115. Over under 6. Minus 115 each way. Caps plus 1/2 is minus 300. Flyers minus 1/2 is plus 220. It's preseason. Phillies home. I'll take the Flyers minus 110. Sabres, Blue Jackets. The Jackets are minus 180. The Sabres are plus 140. Over under 6.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 125. Sabres plus 1/2 is minus 160. Jackets minus 1/2 is plus 125. I'm going to go with the over at even money. Hurricanes Lightning postponed due to Hurricane Ian. We'll see when that gets rescheduled, if it does. Canadians Maple Leafs. The Leafs are minus 195. The Habs are plus 150. Over under 6.5, minus 115 each way. Habs plus 1/2 is minus 145. Leafs minus 1/2 is plus 115. I'm going to go with the under. Blackhawks, Red Wings at 7:30. The Red Wings are minus 195. The Blackhawks are plus 150. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 120. Blackhawks plus 1/2 is minus 155. Red Wings minus 1/2 is plus 120. I'm going to go with the over. Oilers, Flames at 9. The Flames are minus 165. The Oilers are plus 130. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 110. Oilers plus 1/2 is minus 185. Flames minus 1/2 is plus 145. I'm going to go with the under. Coyotes, Ducks at 10. We don't have any games for the rest of tonight's slate. The Avs at the Golden Knights on NHL Network. That's a good game for the preseason. And then the Sharks are at the Kings. All right, now we'll move on to soccer. We have an MLS game to go over, as well as some international friendlies. MLS will do first. Seattle and Cincinnati 1-1 draw, as I predicted. The first goal of the game was scored by Brennan of Cincinnati in the 24th minute to give them a 1-0 lead. Then we're in the second half. Freddie Montero, 58th minute, makes it 1-1. And we had a red card. Kelvin Rao, in the 69th minute, got tossed from the game. So, Cincinnati is closing in on their first playoff berth. So, that's pretty cool for Cincinnati. They deserve it. We don't have games until Friday. I think it's only one. Yeah, one game Friday and then a big window on Saturday. So with the win, Cincinnati's now 5th in the East by themselves, or with the draw, I should say. 3 back of NYCFC for 4th. Keep an eye on that. No one's catching the Philadelphia Union. And then Seattle gets a point. There are 5 back of Minnesota. We'll see if they get it together here. And then international friendlies. U.S. men's soccer team tied with Saudi Arabia 0-0. At least they didn't lose. So that's not fun. And then there were other scores as well from the international friendlies. So I can't find the other friendlies now. I'm trying to find the results from the other games. Here we go. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, U.S. 0-0 draw. Costa Rica over Uzbekistan 2-1. South Korea over Cameroon 1-0. Japan, Ecuador 0-0 draw. Indonesia over Curacao 2-1. Senegal, Iran 1-1 draw. Venezuela over United Arab 4-0. Panama over Bahrain 2-0. Uruguay over Canada 2-0. South Africa over Botswana 1-0. Chile and Qatar 2-2 draw. Libya over Tanzania 2-1. Ghana over Nicaragua 1-0. Ivory Coast over Guinea 3-1. Egypt over Liberia 3-0. Brazil over Tunisia 5-1. Algeria over Nigeria 2-1. Paraguay and Morocco 0-0 draw. Argentina over Jamaica 3-0. Peru over El Salvador 4-1. Honduras over Guatemala 2-1. Colombia over New Mexico 3-2. Brunei over Laos 1-0. Nepal over Bangladesh 3-1. Equatorial Guinea and Togo 2-2 draw. DR Congo over Sierra Leone 3-0. Burkina Faso over Comoros 2-1. Vietnam over India 3-0. And Malta over Israel 2-1. So those were a lot of friendlies that we had to discuss on today's show. Now I'll move on to golf. We have another tournament coming up. It is the Sanderson Farms Championship. The tournament gets underway tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. So at 8 o'clock tomorrow, Max McGreevy, Brandon Wu, Ryan Moore, Adam Hadwin, Dylan Fratelli, and Corey Gribble. 8:11, Patton Kazir, Adam Schenk, Matthias Schwab, Vincent Taylor, Hayden Buckley, and Mackenzie Hughes. 8:22, Alex Smalley, Kramer Heacock, Vincent Whaley, Dylan McCarthy, Adam Putnam, Jason Duffner. 8:33, Richie Wierenski, Joel Dahman, JT Potson, Grayson Higo, Seb Straka, and Joaquim Herman. 8:44, Seamus Power, Tyler Duncan, Cheserfield, Gary Woodland, Stuart Sink, and Harry English. 8:55, Nate Taylor, Kevin Strillman, Keegan Bradley, Scott Stallings, Brendan Todd, and Robert Streb. 9:06, Aaron Rice, Stefan Yeager, Chengsun Pong, Kevin Tway, Nate Watney, and Adam Long. 9:16, Matthew Neesmith, Justin Sue, Taylor Moore, Grayson Sieg, Bryce Garnett, and Michael Kim. 9:28, Ben Silverman, Anders Albertson, Brandon Matthews, Kyle Westmoreland, Cole Hammer, and Trevor Werbiolo. 9:39, Augusto Nunez, Tyson Alexander, Scott Harrington, Nicholas Echevarria, Samuel Stevens, and Nicholas Lindheim. 9:50, Anyu Chun, Seung-Hoon Kim, Alejandro Totsi, Ben Griffin, Matthias Schmid, and Philip Knowles. 10:01, Brent Grant, Kevin Roy, Vincent Norman, Wilson Furr, Joseph Henko, and Dean Brewmeister. 1255. Wyndham Clark, Callum Tarrant, Ben Martin, Zach Blair, Davis Lipsky, and Martin Trainer. 106. Austin Smotherman, Lucas Hodges, Sam Piercy, Nate Lashley, Chris Kirk, and David Lingermirth. 117. Sam Ryder, Adam Svensson, Patrick Rogers, Ryan Henley, Russell Knox, and Bayang Hunan. 128. Chad Ramey, Sam Burns, Christian Ziedenhout, Martin Laird, Lucas Glover, and Michael Thompson. 139. Trey Mullinax, Sahith Thiglia, Ryan Brem, Andrew Landry, Luke List, and Emiliano Grillo. 150. Justin Lauer, Davis Riley, Rory Sabatini, Mark Hubbard, Peter Malnati, William McGirt. 201. Henrik Norlander, Austin Cook, Jimmy Walker, Ryan Moore, Brian Stewart, and Chasen Hadley. 212. MJ Daffey, Harry Higgs, Harrison Endicott, Chris Stroud, Brandon Steele, and John Huh. 223. Joseph Bramlett, Taylor Montgomery, Nick Hardy, Yichin Yan, Ben Taylor, and Harry Hall. 234. Michael Giljick, Will Gordon, Zicheng Du, Trevor Cohn, Thomas Dietrich, and Eric Barnes. 245. Eric Cole, Carson Young, Austin Eckroat, Quade Cummins, Sam Murphy, and Estanalo Goya. And 256. Robbie Shelton, Dylan Wu, Davis Thompson, Jackson Suber, Bryce Wilkinson, and Paul Haley II. So there could be somebody that's not well known that could win this tournament. But I have a couple names in mind who I'm looking at. And there's a guy in particular that I think is just due. And the guy I'm looking at has some pretty good odds. And the individual I'm looking at to win this tournament and give out a super duper long shot because he's a good golfer and hasn't come through in a while. 45-1, Gary Woodland. I'm gonna throw on a 20th of a unit on it. So there you have it, Gary Woodland to win the PGA Sanderson's Farm Championship at 45-1. All right, The Masked Singer, episode 2 of season 8 tonight. So we're gonna see some new characters. On the show today. Last week we saw 4 characters. They unmasked 2. They're gonna unmask a third one, but they didn't have time, so they're gonna unmask that third character to start today's show. And only one character moves on. So it's a different type of season. We had the harp. There was a gate in the clue package, auditioned for a big show, but was turned down. She was casted roles in plays. She was an outsider. There's some flowers in her clue package. And this individual performed Perfect by Pink. And the on-stage clue, most proud of an award won for comedy because she shared the award with her besties. My guess for the harp was Jennifer Hudson. I think she is outstanding and has a good voice. Talks about being turned down on a big TV show. Robin went with Queen Latifah. Jenny went with Jordan Sparks and Fantasia. And Ken said Jennifer Hudson as well. Hedgehog went second. There was a lizard, an Eiffel Tower, a playbook, a guitar, a cardinal. Celebrity following. There was an H on his, on the top of his hat, and he performed "Love Me Do" by the Beatles. The onstage clue. There is a Tony and a Grammy. Ken Jeong threw out Ringo Starr and Elton John. Robin said Eric Idle. Jenny said John Cleese and Michael Keaton. And Nicole said Bill Nye the Science Guy. I guessed Martin Short. Third up was Hummingbird. There was a football field. A Mike talks about having a connection with Shaq. There was cleats, footballs, a scoreboard, a Super Bowl, rings, cowboy hat. And this person performed I Don't Wanna Be by Gavin DeGraw. The onstage clue said that his awards were out of this world. And he likes the silver awards but doesn't meet second place. I thought this was Patrick Mahomes at first. But I now think this is Eli Manning. I think there's a chance that this is Jason Pierre-Paul, the Buccaneers. I think that there's a chance that this is Jim Harbaugh. I think that there's a chance that this could be Tom Brady, who Ken Jeong guessed, and he also guessed Peyton Manning. Robin Thicke said Deion Sanders, and Jenny said Rob Thomas and Chad Kroger. I mean, could it be Carson Wentz? Probably not. Maybe Nick Foles. Trying to think if there's anti-Cowboys stuff. Wait, is it Troy Aikman? He's a broadcaster. He was a Cowboy. He's won Super Bowls. It'd be funny if this was Troy Aikman, but I'm going to stick with my gut and say Eli. And then the night, outer space, 2 chairs, a police badge, cover tape, Shakespeare. This person performed Puttin' on the Ritz by Fred Astaire. His onstage clue was he loves all of his awards, but especially the big awards. Ken said David Hasselhoff. Jenny said William Shatner. Robin said Jerry Springer and Weird Al. I said David Letterman. First unmasked was the night. My final guess was David Letterman. Ken said David Hasselhoff. Jenny said William Shatner. Nicole said John Lithgow. Robin said Weird Al Yankovic. And it was William Shatner, so Jenny got that one correct. And then the second unmasking was Hedgehog. My final guess was Martin Short. Nicole said Bill Nye. Ken ridiculously said Elton John. Robin said Eric Idle. Jenny said John Cleese, and it was Eric Idle, so Robin got one correct. And then Will Arnett comes out and promotes Lego Masters. And then who moved on? The Harp. As Hummingbird, we'll find out in the beginning of tonight's episode who this is. So it's going to be very interesting to see who this Hummingbird is. And I think it is for sure an athlete. All right, now I'll move on to Survivor. Season 43, episode 2. We were introduced to the tribes. It's Baka, it's Vasey, and it's Coco. We were introduced to the contestants as well. So the reward challenge was that 2 tribe members raced into a jungle for crates, and 2 other tribe members then got a boat full of crates from the ocean, and the last 2 tribe members would assemble the crates to make a cube, in which one tribe member would climb to retrieve a flint hanging above them, and the first to obtain the flint won, as well as a pot and mesquite for their tribe. And the 2 losing tribes would have to compete either Savvy or Sweat Challenge at camp with time limit to earn their supplies. Vasey won the reward challenge. And then the other 2 tribes won their Savvy or Sweat challenges. So that was pretty good. The immunity challenge was where the tribes did the obstacle course with somebody opening the way at each obstacle. And the first to get to the table game portion got their choice of one of 3 games, while the second got the pick between one of the remaining 2. And the first 2 tribes to compete their chosen table game won immunity, while the losing tribe had to go to tribal council. Coco and Vasey won the challenge. And then, obviously, Baka had to go to tribe council. And Gabler, who struggled in the challenge, publicly declared that he would take his shot in the dark, but he was talked out of it. And then they go to tribe. And the player who was voted off was Mariah, as it was a 5-1 vote, as Ellie, Gabler, Janine, Owen, and Sammy all voted out Mariah, and Mariah tried to vote out Owen. And now coming up is an interesting episode. I like all these tribes. All these tribes are really good, and they all try hard. I think the tribe that's going to go to tribal council this week, just a gut point, I'm going to say it's Coco. And the player that gets voted out, there's some good players. I'm going to say Gio gets voted out. Just a gut guess. But I could be completely wrong. Maybe I'm just overreacting to episode 1, or maybe I'm just trying to glimpse into the future a little bit. All right, news and notes time. A lot that we have to discuss. We'll start with baseball. Mets Braves could be moved, as the league is currently weighing on contingency plans for the series in Atlanta due to Hurricane Ian. It's going to be interesting. Do they move it to Citi Field? That would be interesting. I remember there was a hurricane several years ago in Tampa, and the Rays home games got moved to Citi Field, and the Yankees had to play road games at Citi Field against the Rays, and it was all Yankee fans there. I don't know if they'll go to Citi Field because then that would just be Met home games. My guess, if they had to go somewhere, that would be maybe Miami if Miami's on the road. I feel like that would be the pick. Because I don't think they would go to Citi Field because that's not fair to the Mets, and that's just giving the Mets an advantage by going to Citi Field. I even thought it wasn't really that fair that they put the Rays in Citi Field against the Yankees because it wasn't fair because there was a home field advantage for the Yankees. It was all Yankee fans in Citi Field. I don't think it's going to be Citi Field. Maybe it's Nationals Park, but even the Storm has to go through there. So I don't think it's going to be Nationals Park. But if I had to guess, let me see if the Marlins are home this weekend, because that would be the logical choice. And the Marlins are at Milwaukee, so I'm going to say they move it to Miami. That would be my guess, because Miami, I don't think, is being affected by the storm, so I think they're going to move the games to Miami in the Marlins Stadium. So obviously the Yankees and the Cardinals won their divisions last night. And Aaron Judge is still stuck at 60 home runs. There's a ton of boos in Toronto for every walk Aaron Judge had. And then Aaron Boone said to his team, "You guys were the best team in the best division this year." That's right. The AL East was the best division this year. And the Yankees won the division. Pretty much going away, even though they collapsed a little bit there in the summer. We talked about soccer with USMNT getting a draw against Saudi Arabia. Chelsea joined the Bellingham race as Todd Bowley is having conversations with Dortmund Stars camp and moved to gate crash. And Madrid and Liverpool have bids as well. Sister Jean threw out the first pitch at Wrigley Field. That's something I forgot to mention. The Saints will be rocking their alternate helmets in London on Sunday against the Vikings. Myles Garrett to be determined for Sunday after a shoulder sprain and bicep strain and lacerations from Monday's car accident. 2 brutal injuries. Sterling Shepard torn ACL. He's out for the year. That's brutal for the Giants. Sterling Shepard's just always injured. I feel bad for him. And Tracy Walker tore his Achilles. That's brutal news for the Lions. Says he's out for the year. More basketball stuff. Lonzo Ball could miss the entire season as Billy Donovan admits that he has to prepare for the possibility that the knee injury keeps Lonzo out for the season, as Lonzo says he cannot run or jump. Boy, that would be brutal for the Bulls, especially after him signing as a free agent, missing a lot of last year as well. Markieff Morris had a viral take on the Nets situation as he compared the Katie Nets thing to breaking up with his wife a couple of times. DeAndre Ayton has not spoke to Monty Williams since he was benched during Game 7. And Monty Williams says that he hasn't talked to a couple of guys over the summer, so he downplayed it. Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau says that Evan Fournier is the front runner to start over Quentin Grimes at the shooting guard position. A lot of Knicks fans won't like this take, but it's probably the right move. Evan Fournier had a bad year last year. He isn't that bad. He'll be better than he was last year. But if he underperforms again and Quentin Grimes is great, then you make the switch. Memphis gets a probation and fine as they get 3 years probation and $5,000 fine for recruitment violations related to James Wiseman. Yikes. That is not good for the Memphis program at all. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. And oh, by the way, we talked about Hurricane Ian a little bit. Thoughts and prayers go out to everybody in the state of Florida as they brace this potential Category 5 storm. It's just not fun at all. And so without further ado, best bet. I'm going to lay a half unit on a play I feel pretty confident about. And that is the over 9 in Red Sox Orioles. Those two teams have just been scoring a lot of runs lately. I'm like a half unit on it, over 9 between the Orioles and the Red Sox for my best bet of the day. That's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from today and looking ahead to everything tomorrow. We have Thursday Night Football tomorrow between the Bengals and the Dolphins. We have a lot of college football tomorrow, too. And then news and notes and best bet, as well as recapping the reality TV. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.